Okay, so I did a few things off camera, as it were. I started to put in the aerials. I put in these little things, which someone told me might be like some kind of direction detection thing. I had to modify the little trolley and the where the airplane and the crane's going to go, because I want these wires in here. They're just elastic. And where I had them before, they're going to run into things. So you couldn't even use the airplane. So I repositioned these. They're glued in, ready to go. The airplane's going to hang off of this side. It's going to be kind of cool. Excuse me. Excuse me, I've got a cold. And I started working on the railings and things on the superstructure here. What I used for the verticals was brass, which was a pain in the brass to actually use. It's hard to get them all the same size. And then I stretched a piece of elastic thread to represent the where is that? Right there, to represent the railing, but it's too thin, so I don't like it. I did make railings here out of some thin fuse wire, but I got to put railings all along the deck. And what I decided to do was try doing it with stretched sprue. So over here, you can see there's railing right along here. And what I'm going to do is show you how I basically did that, but that's all stretched sprue. And then I painted it. It looks pretty good. So I'm going to try to, my Spitfire's making it so I can't focus. That's better. So there's my railing. And so I'm going to show you basically next how to do that and then how to install it. And I think it's going to work just fine. So it's hard to see, but that's saran wrap. It's stupid with the lights. But what I did was I pulled plastic sprue, very thin with my lighting on a fire. I drew a line, which you can't see, and I put a long railing, just taped it down along where it's supposed to go. And I'm trying to point at those little black dots. Those are the positions of the verticals. And so I know where those go. And by the way, I did this showing you this way. Using wax paper instead of plastic wrap worked much better. And those distances correspond to these distances right here between those little posts. So that's the part of the railing I'm doing right now. There's some in the back of the thing and some in the front. And then I use my little dividers to get all those little dots situated. And so it's simple. Those are just where I use my thick glue. Those are just where all the vertical pieces go. So you cut a bunch of little vertical pieces out at the center bottom of the screen. There's right where my fingers are there. There's a little whole pile of them. I didn't realize how dumb this was. It's hard to see with the plastic wrap. It reflects. But anyway, all you do, and it worked better when I started to use tweezers, but you just put these in position and just do them by eye and make sure they're perpendicular to the top railing. And you just start putting these in one after the other, making sure that they are butting up against the top railing. The other reason to use wax paper is it's flatter. The plastic wrap tends to sort of wander and wave, and so this was actually harder to do than the previous one. I was experimenting, thinking this might be better. Well, I was wrong. Wax paper is the only way to go, baby. Anyway, but all you're doing is putting these in and making them vertical, and you can just do it by eye. You don't have to be super anal about it. And you put that super glue on there and let it dry. And you just basically go down the whole length. And then you make your piece. That's all there is to it. The hardest part is yet to come, because now you have to take this off. And this is where, like, when you're building a balsa model, it's quite easy to do. I guess because the balsa, you make a tail surface or a wing, it's pretty robust. This stuff is very, very delicate. Now, I drew a little line where the bottom part of the rail should go, so where it's going to connect to the actual decking on the boat. So what I'm doing to get it all even is I just lay my ruler across to make sure it's lined up. And again, I measure that distance from the top railing to the deck with my dividers. And I just go through and you just start picking these off with the X-Acto blade, using the ruler as a guide. And you end up with a nice level set of verticals that go all the way along the railing. And the length should be right based on the pictures I see that I'm using. But you just keep going all the way down the line. Zap these little guys off. and they just come right out. And then when you're all done, you now have a railing that's actually even that you can't see. Um, but yes, the next part is taking them out, and that's difficult, I have to say. It was especially trying with this paper or with this plastic wrap. Um, the wax paper isn't easy either, and you got to cut it very carefully. But you basically put the knife under there and kind of wedge it and sort of twist it slightly, and you just kind of do it real carefully. And as you go, you will rip some of the backing, and some of it gets stuck to the plastic, and you can take it off. But you just do this and keep playing with it and tugging at it and just being very delicate with it. And then you end up with a railing. And this one's even warped. But put a little bit of glue, and I just started with one end. I started mine on the front end. So I grabbed this thing, and what I end up doing is putting the one in the very top, or the front, where it's supposed to go. I guess the bow, huh? Put it right where it's supposed to go, and then let it dry. And once it's dry, you start coming down and just adding little bits of glue all the way down the way, and just making sure that you get them straight. And if there is a little bit of a curve, you can straighten it out pretty well, surprisingly. Sometimes use a little zip kicker, sometimes you don't have to. And you just kind of go down the line until you get it the way you want it. And you don't do it all at once. You just do one at a time and just sort of grab them and stick them in there. And if you do that, it works pretty well. And it's just methodical. And you end up with this. Now this side didn't turn out as good as the last side, actually. I got a couple of dips in this that I shouldn't. But anyway, it's in. And the next step is to paint it, which I did off camera. But all you need to do is paint that sucker, and you got yourself a very nice railing.